we shouldn't forget that that guy is not only he's not still 18. That's great. He knows exactly what he needs to do to be effective. He does it with a big maturity, with calm and effectiveness. I mean, the guy is great. We all love him, and there is nothing else to say. That's heart of my man.
Yes.
Nobody was doing it at that age, though.
No, and the names even that Frank just pulled out.
No, no recency bias. You know, Pele was probably doing it at 17 for Brazil, but I didn't see Pele live. You certainly didn't see him live. Do you know who he is? Or was?
Yeah, I know.
Nobody's doing... Again, I go back to this. This is just huge. You got a blank sheet of paper, and you're picking 11 players. Now, who am I picking first? I'm picking a 17-year-old. Putting him there against Kieran Gibbs at left back. That's who I'm putting first in the team. Then I'm filling all the dots around it. You're a fullback. You're a fullback. Did you see the Champions League semi-finals?
Oh.
Did you see DeMarco struggle with him? He was better in the second leg until he went off. The first leg was a struggle. You're a left back. He's a left-footed, plays on the right-hand side. How... It's a simple question, really, but I mean, there's no real definitive answer. How the hell, unless people are doubling up?
How'd you stop it?
Dealing with Bukayo Saka is difficult enough because he's a terrific player. He's older, he's a terrific player, but there's levels, and Lamine Yamal is another level. At the moment, maybe things will change, I don't know. He's another level, and we see consistently Premier League teams having to send 2 and 3 out when Saka's fit to double up on him. So how do you balance that as a fullback? Show him on his, try and show him on his right foot?
Well, that's the magic question. I mean, that's why he's one of the best in the world. And the biggest question is how close do you get to him? Do you start close to not give him the space, or do you worry then that he's going to
the ball in behind,
or do you give him that yard and allow him that space to run at you and do like what he did the other day?
Can you?
I don't think you can do that. And the worst is when you're coming up against a player like this that, okay, you don't want him to come on his left, of course, but then if he can also go the other way.
Which you did against DeMarco when he sat him in his pants a couple of times.
Exactly.
When he feint to do that, to make the cross or the shot, and you go to block it, and he doubles back.
Yeah, and when you have a player with that kind of balance and skill and flair and attitude is the worst for a fullback. What I love about him is his character. Not only does he walk the walk, he talks the talk as well at 17. You don't see that often at all in the game, and I think it's a breath of fresh air. Obviously, when Messi came into first burst onto the scene, you know, everyone was in awe of him, and he had more of a shy character, whereas this kid just comes in with bundles of confidence. You know, how many times has he...
He's won the Euros already for Spain.
He's won the Euros. He's just won...
Do you know how many games Messi had played at this point for Barcelona? 5.
There you go.
Says it all. And with your
everybody develops at different times. So is it? But we've covered the Liga for 2 or 3 years now, and we sit here every weekend and we talk about some of these big superstars, mostly a bit older. And I remember when he came into the side at 16, he was a good player, obviously he was a good player, and he had talent. But I sat here and I was thinking, yeah, all right. You know, 16, we've all seen youngsters come into a team and have a bit of flair, and then they really hit a wall. And they maybe go away for 6 months or be on the bench or they go back in the reserves. And then they have to fight their way back again. And I kind of thought that's what would happen when Dembele was there and when Rafinha was there, and obviously Rafinha wasn't playing so well, but now he is. You thought, right, and Ansu Fati was still there before he went to Brighton, and he was the young superstar coming up. And the mindset I thought was, well, we're probably going to see him go by the wayside a little bit, sit on the bench and have a break and come, you know, maybe get 20 minutes here and 10 minutes there, and maybe playing a cup competition, and we'll see little bits and pieces of him. I never ever thought we would see, for club and country, this sort of trajectory, which has not, for most players, it's kind of, you hope it goes kind of up like that. This has gone up like a crazy stock market, hasn't it? I mean, it's just...
These days, it's only going to continue going up.
Who says?
The player himself.
Well, the difficulty is, and I've said this, I've said this a bit.
Here he is. With winning La Liga with Barcelona is incredible, but this is just the beginning of what we want to achieve. The message to supporters is this is just getting started. It's impossible to tire of winning. I have it permanently on my mind.
Yeah, I think he's talking about the club.
Of course.
Rather than himself.
And Flick's been very careful to not let it just be about Lamine. He said it's about the whole team.
I'm not being facetious. He is going to turn 18 and he will be allowed to go and do different things. And being in the limelight and trying to avoid that superstardom and what comes with it, and not being lured to a bar or to these big events and getting sort of caught up and maybe you just lose a little bit of focus is supremely difficult, no matter how grounded you are. And I go back to, and I'll say this quickly just so as the boys can have the piece. I say this, and I mean it, and I've said it in the show, there is rarely a time ever that a player like this does not hit a bump in the road. Every player hits it, no matter if you're a great player, superstar, an average player, mediocre player. You have injuries, you hit a bump in the road, you lose form. And then you have to find a way to pick yourself up and go again. At the moment, all he has seen is this amazing upward trend, which is great, and I hope that continues. But we've all played the game at that level. And it is very difficult not to see the downside now and again.
Frank? Sorry, Kieran.
No, I was going to say,
Sorry, Kieran. I just want to go back to what Craig was saying before about Pelé, that we didn't see him playing, but I saw some footage about Pelé playing at 17 years old, winning the World Cup, winning 3 World Cups out of 4. And I was thinking while Craig was talking about the chance that Lamine has comparing to Pelé in terms of preparing himself, the fitness, the psychological aspect of the game, but also the protection that Lamine Yamal will get, hopefully will get against tough defender like Kieran Gibbs was, or myself, I was. but really, like I saw Pelé getting injured during the World Cup in 1966 in England, having no protection. I remember Maradona being had his leg broken in Spain, but a horrendous, horrific tackle from a Spanish player. I think Lamine Yamal can carry on, and because we talk about consistency, we could talk about progression, we talk about staying there at the top level. It's hard. It's hard because you have to stay there 10 years at least to be compared to the others, like Ronaldo, like Messi, but also like Thierry Henry. Thierry Henry won the World Cup at 20 years old, but kept on going and kept on staying at the top of the top. So that's going to be the hardest task for Lamine Yamal. But what I like about the modern football is, physically wise, is going to be protected from the referees towards the mean players, I would say, which wasn't the case for somebody like Pelé. At 17 years old, he was smashed like crazy. And I tell you, I saw Pelé playing. That was simply amazing what he was capable of doing.
Kieran?
Hold on, he was born in 9. This is amazing. This is amazing. I've never seen this before. Folks, this is breaking news. Frank Leboeuf saw Pelé play at the 1966 World Cup before he was born.
No, not live. I never said live. I never said live, you know. I said, you can record, you know. Even at that time, they recorded games, and I watched the games after that, of course. I wasn't born.
No, I think obviously we have to be careful about comparing him already in such an early part of his career to the greats that we've seen, because of the very reasons that Frank's just mentioned. You know, you have to be consistent at the top of the game for a number of years. And I think even Lamine, that's the one conversation, as not arrogant, but as confident as he is, he won't even put himself in that conversation of comparing himself to Messi yet, because he knows that what he has to do to achieve that. And that's what I like about him. He talks with a confidence, but he plays with a flair, but such a maturity as well. Like he's not just picking up the ball every time and just trying to take on the whole team. He knows when to move it as well. He knows when to pass the ball, and he just knows he has the perfect gauge of time and space on the field. it's incredible.
As everybody knows who, and as you guys know, and if you watch this show, you know I'm a cynical sod. I don't try to hide it.
No.
And
No.
we were there, Frank, in Barcelona, and I was looking forward to the game, obviously, and it was a bonkers game and it had a lot riding on it. But actually, and I don't do this very often because, as you know, one of my favourite phrases is, I couldn't give a stuff. But I was actually looking forward to watching Lamine Yamal live, you know, because we watch it on the TV and you kind of sense it, but it's a little different. And I thought, I'm actually looking forward to seeing this young man, how he operates today, what he does off the ball, what he does on the ball, what's his work rate like, just all those kind of things. And he just intrigued me. And there's really, I mean, I'll be honest, I mean, I obviously watched Messi and Ronaldo at the pomp, and it was incredible. But that was one of the main things I was looking forward to. Now, I know wasn't it about me, but I think I wasn't alone in that crowd, or I wasn't alone.
Burley himself flattered.
I know.
No, but I was looking,
young...
you know, because I think that's, again, I don't think we're overstating this. I think that's where he is that when you go to a game, if you're not a Barca fan and you're there every second week, and like most people around the world, you're watching it on TV, you think, what am I looking for today? Well, I want to see Kylian Mbappe, obviously, how's he going to respond? But I really wanted to see this young man in person, and he did not disappoint.
It was everything you hoped it would be.
Well, yeah, it was everything I thought it would be.
That's sweet.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And that's it. This is that's the end of the niceties.
Yeah, I know. I thought you were going to tear up then. Hopefully we'll see him again on Sunday on our La Liga coverage here on ESPN+. Make sure to be with us. Barcelona play Villarreal. Sevilla will be taking on Real Madrid. All of these games at the same time. Atleti against Real Betis as well.